feel like the most common meat cooked at dinner is chicken. I could be wrong, but chicken dinner is where it's at. And there's lots of different ways to make it, obviously. But today I'm going to share with you 5 different ways that you can use chicken for dinner that maybe you've never tried before. Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. The first recipe I have for you is Cajun chicken orzo. Orzo is my favorite pasta, and if you give me Cajun flavors with chicken, we know it's going to be a winner. To get started, I'm going to heat this to about medium high. You want a really large pan, ideally one that has a lid. While it is heating, I'm going to throw in about a half a tablespoon of butter and about a tablespoon of olive oil. Okay, we just have a couple of things to do. We need to finely mince or dice this onion. It's about a half an onion, but it was a rather large one. We just need a couple of tablespoons of sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to chop them super duper fine because I'm not a big fan of the texture. I know they make a paste, and I thought I bought some sun-dried tomato paste. I found it at Aldi. Cannot find it for the life of me. So I'm gonna make kind of my own paste right now because I want this chopped up as finely as possible. That's all the chopping and dicing I need to do. Now we need to season our chicken. So the recipe called for 3 chicken breasts sliced into small strips. I did 2 because I had really large chicken breasts. I've got some Tony Chachere's, I don't know how to say it. Creole seasoning, Cajun seasoning. Kind of toss it around, flip it over so I can get to the underside. And I'm just gonna eyeball this. We like spicy, so I don't mind if I kind of over season. And then it also says to add just a little bit of salt, so we'll do that too. I think there's salt in this, is there not? Yes, the first ingredient. And that's all we're gonna add then. Let's go over to the stovetop, and I can always season it after I put it in the pan as well. I'm gonna add a little more of this Creole seasoning to the top here. We're gonna flip it here in just a second. Cameraman has entered the kitchen. Thank you. We don't have to worry about this cooking all the way through right this moment because it's gonna cook for quite a while. We're just getting it kind of browned or seared on each side. Going in with our chicken is our onion, some garlic, a tablespoon of tomato paste, and our sun-dried tomatoes. Gosh, that smells good already. We're gonna turn it to about low heat and let this cook for another 5 minutes. It's just gonna soften those onions. Our onions are good and soft. I've got 1 cup of orzo pasta here. I'm gonna pour this in, and we're gonna let this cook for about a minute before we add our liquid. All right, so it's been about a minute. I've got a cup of chicken broth. We're gonna add that in. And we wanna bring this up to a simmer. What'd you say?
I said, I'm gonna burn you.
That's not what I meant.
Oh.
He said, what if we threw some jalapeno in there? I said, well, we got one in the fridge, so here we are. Oh, it's coming up to a simmer over there. I gotta go over there and do my thing. You better hurry up over here.
Hurry.
Don't cut yourself. Okay, I'll be back. So he's bringing our jalapeno over because this has come to a simmer. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down just a bit. Go ahead. Oh, he is not playing. You better wash your hands good and don't touch your eyes. We are gonna let this simmer. I'm gonna put the lid on it. We'll stir it every so often, but simmer for about 20 minutes. It's gonna cook that orzo and it'll cook those jalapenos down too. I'm gonna do 19 because we waited an extra minute or so before we turned it on. As this is cooking for 20 minutes, you wanna make sure you're checking on the liquid sitch. So you don't want it to dry out. I did add probably another half a cup of chicken broth about 7 or 8 minutes ago because my orzo was soaking it up and it was about to be dry and the orzo wasn't cooked yet. So just keep an eye on that. You may have to add more liquid. Let's check the chicken.
Chicken check.
It is looking really good. We're gonna add in some baby spinach. I removed the stems. You don't have to do that. I do that because I don't like them. You need about a cup. You don't need a whole lot. We're gonna let that wilt. Actually, I'm gonna put the lid back on it for just a second. That'll help the wilting process speed up. What is it?
You gotta wilt it down.
Y'all miss.
We are wilting it down.
Y'all miss so much when the camera is turned off. I'm sorry for y'all because it's pretty comical in this kitchen.
All right, here. Now, we're gonna put some, that's right, we're putting some heavy cream in there.
That's right. Only about 1/4 cup. Not a lot.
Don't put no more than 1/4. Whoa, now, whoa. I'm just kidding.
Would you stop? God. I can't do nothing with you. All right, let's stir that around. We're gonna let that heat through, and then I've got some grated Parmesan cheese.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's add that in. You're gonna add in about 3 tablespoons. I grated a little extra so we could put some on top.
I like you.
Yeah.
Yes, that is really good. Definitely getting the Creole spices and flavors in there.
Good.
Garlic flavor. I mean, it is not bland.
No.
It's hitting hardcore.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Cole is in the other room, and he just said, "Oh yeah."
That is super flavorful. The word bland is nowhere in this house right now. Salad with the Caesar dressing. Is that Caesar?
It's pesto Caesar. Yes.
Man, what a combination of flavors.
Yeah. So
The
good.
Creole seasoning is very rich in that Creole flavor for sure. The chicken just melts.
The chicken
It is
so good. It is not
fantastic.
dried out at all.
So good kick of spice from the chili pepper
Right.
that's in there.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the chili pepper adds a lot of flavor to this, if you know
No.
what I mean? Like it doesn't take away.
No.
Or
It just add a little more heat,
just add a little bit more heat.
which we
Yes.
like. Y'all gotta make this one. For our second recipe, I'm going to share with you an Alfredo chicken bacon bake. All of those words make me smile. First things first. Preheat the oven to 350. Okay, the first thing we're gonna be doing is frying up some bacon, but we need to chop it up into little pieces. So that's what I'm doing here. I've got about 4 pieces of bacon. This is center cut bacon. It doesn't matter what kind you have. And let's take this over to a skillet on the stove. Okay, so let's just add that in here. And we're just gonna let that brown. But while that starts, let's go back over and cut up our chicken. I need to split my chicken breasts because they're rather thick. Okay, so I split 2 of them. One of them is not thick, so that's done. Let me wash my hands and we'll move on to the next step. We need to dice this red pepper. This way they're all exactly the same size. Why are you gonna do me like that? Sir? Okay, whatever. That's more like it. Beautiful. And then lastly, all I need to do is just chop up this parsley. This will be it for the end. I need to go check on that bacon. It's sounding good over there. It's also smelling good. Okay, just a couple more minutes on this. The bacon was done, so I drained, or not drained it, put it over here. I did leave the drippings, and we are going to pop our red pepper in here, and we're just gonna let this cook for a couple of minutes. While that cooks, I'm gonna season our chicken breast with a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to remember to take that off. The other day I forgot to do that and couldn't figure out what was wrong with my pepper, why it wouldn't come out. It helps if you take the lid off. These have been cooking for a couple of minutes. Let's remove it out with a slotted spoon to a bowl. You don't want them super soft. I think the recipe says crisp tender. So kind of in that in between. Now to the same skillet, let's add our chicken. We're gonna let it cook on this first side for about 4 minutes. All right, let's turn these over. It's been about 2.5 minutes. Let these cook for another couple of minutes on this side. Are you aware of something? You are. I know, princess. I know. I know. I know. Babe, did you fall over? There we go. Little old woman. Our chicken is done for now. It's gonna finish in the oven, but let's mix together a few of our ingredients. So when you take your bell pepper from the stove into a bowl, put it in a medium-sized bowl, because I'm having to transfer mine because this bowl wasn't big enough. We're gonna add about 1/4 cup of basil pesto, a 15-ounce jar of Alfredo sauce, just whichever one you want, and 1/2 cup of chicken broth, which I'm gonna pour in here. I'm gonna put the lid on it and shake it around, and that'll just get all the Alfredo sauce out of there. There we go. All right, let's mix that together. Now you see why I needed a bigger bowl. Okay, that smells good. All right. Let's that to the side. It says to use a 9x13 dish. This one is a little bit bigger than 9x13, but it'll get the job done. I'm gonna spray it with a little nonstick spray. And we're gonna add our chicken breasts to the bottom. Keep in mind, these are not done. You're not cooking them all the way through on the stovetop because it's gonna bake for 30 minutes. So they will be done by the end. Then we're just gonna pour this mixture over top of our chicken. Okay, we do need to cover this, so I'm gonna grab some aluminum foil. Okay, this is going in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes till it's nice and bubbly and our chicken is cooked through. There we go. So the chicken is almost done and ready to come out of the oven for us to move on to the next step, but I have some broccoli steaming on the stove. Once the chicken comes out, I'm going to uncover it and make sure that it has come up to temperature and the chicken is completely cooked. And then I'm going to add about a half a cup to a cup of mozzarella cheese on top and put it back in the oven for 5 more minutes uncovered. Now that it is out of the oven, we are going to top it with our chopped bacon and our fresh parsley. And y'all, this smells amazing. We cannot wait to dig in. So for some reason, our microphone decided not to work during this part, but this is Steven enjoying the meal. He said it definitely had a little bit of an herb flair to it, which is that pesto peeking through. He loved it. Cole also gave it a thumbs up. They both just wanted to drink the sauce. They also loved the bacon flavor. The bacon flavor is definitely throughout because we cooked all of the veggies and the chicken. We kind of browned the chicken in the bacon grease. The bacon flavor is definitely there. This is so good.
You got that herby, garlicky, bacony, buttery, cheesy flavor, garlicky.
Go away. So the guys are already done with their meal and I'm almost finished with mine. Do not let this sauce go to waste. This would be a really great dish to make a side of pasta with. You could do some orzo or any type of pasta really and just cover it in that sauce because there's so much sauce. Oh my word, it's so good. I could drink the sauce. A more recent find to us was the apple cider vinegar chicken. It is delicious. You've got to try it. I just got a brand new thing of apple cider vinegar. So we need about a 1/4 cup of this. And I do have measurements on the side of this bowl, which is great. We also need a couple of tablespoons of Italian seasoning. So I've got this one. I get questions about this all the time. This just came from Sam's Club. Be careful, the lid will come off if you're not paying attention. I did that one time in a video. Some of you are probably here for that. So just be aware. We need a couple of tablespoons, which is a lot. Are we there yet? I mean, I feel like that's probably a tablespoon. Let's keep going. Okay, I feel like that's a good bit. Next, we need just a tablespoon or so of olive oil and some salt. We need about a teaspoon of salt and some black pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon or so. Okay, we just need to whisk that together. A little whisk is dirty. And yes, I could have washed it, but that's okay. We'll use the big whisk. All right, that's it. Now, let's grab our chicken in a Ziploc bag and we'll be done. So I've got this handy dandy thing that a subscriber sent to me several years ago and I love it. It holds open our Ziploc bag. I've got a gallon size. There we go. Now for this recipe, it calls for chicken breasts. I have chicken breasts and chicken thighs. This is just some leftover stuff I had in the freezer. So we're just gonna do a combination of both. I should probably cut this chicken breast in half. This one is already cut in half, but I need to cut this other one in half. There's that one, chicken thighs. Okay, all of our chicken is in here. We're just gonna pour our marinade over top. Scrape out all of that seasoning, zip it up, get all that air out, and I'm just going to massage the chicken as best I can, and it's just going to sit in the fridge until we're ready to cook tonight, and this will just go in the air fryer. All right, there you have it. I'll see you in a little bit. We're going to preheat our air fryer to 380. We are preheated. Let's spray some oil in there. We're going to put our thighs in first because they take a little bit longer to cook. If I can find them in here. Here we go. I'm struggling. Okay, there we go. All right, those are going to go in first at 380. We'll do 18. We've got about 13 minutes left, so I'm going to open this up and we're going to put in our chicken breasts. All of our chicken is ready except for the thicker chicken breast. So I'm going to put it back in for a couple more minutes. We'll move it to the center. Let that finish cooking. I thought you were going to fix your hair. You didn't fix it.
There's no fixing this hair. I'm just gonna have to live with it. All right, let's use this knife here.
Look at you.
Let's try to not be Shrek when we're eating.
Not be Shrek?
You know.
Like an ogre? Oh, look at you, sophisticated, sitting up straight.
Sit up straight. Don't slouch.
That's right.
Wow. Oh, man.
What?
That is delicious.
What'd you get? The chicken?
Man, the seasonings on that. That is great. Like, it doesn't look like much when you're looking at it. Like,
Right.
but wow. That is crazy good.
Lots of flavor?
Definitely get this apple cider vinegar,
Yeah.
you know, that really lifts the rest of the flavors up. Those seasonings, like the earthy sort of
Yeah.
seasoning and everything. Wow.
I'm so glad you like that.
That is good.
Awesome. It was very easy
I was
to
a
make.
little bit like,
You were a little suspect because it didn't look like it had a ton of flavor.
but it'd been marinating.
Yeah, it's been marinating
Need to
all
have a
afternoon.
little more faith.
That's right. You do need to have a little more faith.
Oh man, that thigh is even better.
Good.
Wow. Oh man, the thigh is way better.
Of course it is because it's a thigh.
Man, that's good.
Y'all have to let us know below. Do you prefer white meat, dark meat? We are a dark meat family for sure.
That is delicious. I guess I got to try this other stuff too.
Yeah, try the Brussels.
Oh, full of heat.
It's got some red pepper flakes on there.
That's good.
Can you taste the sweet on it too? It's got maple.
Just a little bit.
Okay, it's got maple syrup
Just a
on it.
little bit.
Okay.
It's very subtle. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of that unless you said sweet.
Yeah.
But then, yes,
you
I
notice
can
it.
definitely
Okay.
notice it a little bit there. It's got a little bit of spiciness to it,
Yeah.
but all in all, it has that great rustic
Yeah.
flavor that you get from the Brussels sprouts. Just lovely. I love it. It goes really good with this.
Is this an autumnal meal?
I reckon.
All right, you gotta try part of your croissant too.
That's going to be good.
Croissant.
Look at this thing.
I'm telling you what.
Just watch that.
I think that these. What's your favorite thing from Wild Grain?
That's a hard decision to make.
We've had a lot of really great things. I've never made anything or baked anything that I didn't like, but I love these croissants.
I mean, this is one of them ASMRs right here.
You're a mess.
That is amazing.
It is good. So, this meal, rate it out of 10.
I mean, 10 and a half. I mean, it's really good.
Okay, good.
Very tasty. I would give it, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10 flavor-wise, I give it an 8.
Okay,
A solid 8,
okay, good.
right? Ease, you know, I'd put it in the probably 9,
Yeah,
9
it
and a
was
half.
so easy,
You know,
yep.
cleanup's probably around what you say, about an 8, 9.
Highly rated as in easy? Probably like a 7 or an 8.
Well,
So,
but healthy,
yeah,
I think it's
very healthy.
light. So I definitely would rate that pretty high.
So, you said you were going to do your workout after dinner, so
Yeah.
you just got to let that settle. But at least it's not like a really heavy meal.
These are the bread, a 10.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
always a 10.
These are incredible.
They're so good. Y'all have got to try that. I really, really do love Wild Grain croissants. All right, I'm going to dig in. I want to try this chicken. That is flavorful. Oh, wow. Okay. I see what you're talking about. You can taste that apple cider vinegar for sure. There's a chicken out there. We have chickens in our yard. We don't own chickens, but they're in our yard all the time. Anyway, as I eat chicken.
Oh boy.
So you can tell it's apple cider vinegar, but it's not punch you in the mouth strong apple
Right.
cider vinegar.
Right.
It is definitely calmed down. It's not super vinegary,
Right.
but you can tell it's there.
Yeah.
Is that a good enough description? We're going to go with that.
You took the word right out of my mouth.
With it being fall and we're heading into the Christmas season, you may want a soup, and I've got a really great one for you. This is a creamy chicken wild rice soup. We need some fresh thyme, and we also need about a cup of spinach. While I don't have spinach in my garden, I do have something that's very similar and acts and tastes just like spinach, so that's what we're going to use. And yes, I'm saying my garden, and I know it's cold outside, but I have a thriving garden, and I'll show you that later. This recipe calls for 2 chicken breasts, but I had these 4 chicken thighs in my freezer, so I thawed them out, and we are just going to trim them up a bit, get some of this excess fat off of there, but feel free to use chicken breasts for sure. Okay, the recipe called for 2 carrots, but look at this. This is enough for two. It's rather large. So we're going with 1. And then I need to chop up these 2 stalks of celery And then I need to also dice this onion. This onion does not need to be diced, it just says chopped. So I'm doing it in larger pieces. All of that is done. We're gonna grab a tablespoon of this butter and head over to our stove. I've got this large soup pot or Dutch oven heating to about medium high. I'm going to let that melt. So the recipe calls for 2 chicken breasts. I feel like this might be a little more chicken than what we needed it for. So I'm going to hold one of these off and I'm gonna throw it in the air fryer a little bit later and just have it for a salad tomorrow. She says, I want it. But I think the 3 will equal about 2 chicken breasts. So that's what we're gonna do. So the spinach is optional in this recipe, but we are going to use this, I'm gonna say this wrong, I know. It's tatsoi. We've got green and red tatsoi here. And according to the garden app, it tells me that this behaves and kind of holds up like spinach. It wilts like spinach, all of the things. So I'm just going to, in true Mandy fashion, cut off the stems because ain't nobody got time for that. I've been wanting to use this. It's been so pretty growing in my garden, so thought it was time to use it. That has melted, but I don't feel like that's enough on the bottom there for all of that. So I'm just gonna add just a little bit of olive oil in there too. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. Let's toss all of our onion, celery, and carrots in. And we're just gonna let this saute and kind of soften for about 7 minutes. Okay, this has been cooking over about medium heat. We're gonna add in about a clove of minced garlic. And I grabbed a few sprigs of thyme from my garden and I'm just gonna throw that in at this point too. We're just gonna let this cook for another 30 seconds. If you have dried thyme, then use about a teaspoon of that. Okay, for this recipe, we need 6 cups of chicken broth. So I've got 2 cups here and then this whole carton. We need to add in 1 bay leaf, a little bit of salt and pepper, not a whole lot of salt because that is not low sodium chicken broth that I used. So I'm just gonna add just a little bit of salt, but I am gonna load up the pepper a good bit. I'm gonna go ahead and turn up the temperature too. So I'm gonna turn this to medium high because we're gonna be bringing all of this up to a boil. At this point, you're gonna add in your chicken. So I'm gonna add in 3 chicken thighs. I'm gonna save that other thigh like I mentioned. And then you need about 2/3 a cup of wild rice. This is a wild rice blend that I have. And honestly, it looks kind of like birdseed, not gonna lie. But I know it's wild rice. So let's add that in too, and let's bring this up to a boil. I got sidetracked and this thing is definitely boiling. So I've turned it down to low and we are going to let this just simmer and cook for about 45 minutes. You want that wild rice to cook all the way through. And then of course we want the chicken to cook all the way through as well. The recipe doesn't say whether you should cover it or not, but I'm assuming that you do because when I cook rice, that's what I do. So I'm going to put the lid on it. And we're gonna let this cook for about 45 minutes. We'll check it around 40 and just see. I just took the lid off. It's been 40 minutes. I have turned it back up to about medium high because we are gonna need this to come up to a boil. But right now we're going to remove our chicken and we're gonna shred it. So I found the bay leaf. I'm gonna take that out and let's add our chicken back in. That looks wonderful. We're gonna add some creaminess to the soup with some heavy cream. We need about a cup. And we're also gonna make a roux here in just a second to help thicken this up. That's why we do need to bring it back to a boil. So I'm just gonna stir this and it's still heating up. It's getting close to coming up to a boil. This looks so good. Let's make our little roux. It's a little bit different. Well, you know what? I say it's different. We're not making a slurry. That's what I'm thinking of, but we're making a roux. So I have 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna melt this really quickly. Okay, so I've got our melted butter here. We're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of flour and just whisk that around. And then we're gonna pour it into the soup. And it's starting to bubble over here, so it will help thicken the soup pretty quickly. And then we're gonna let this simmer for just a couple of minutes, do its thing. And at the very end, we're gonna throw in our spinach-like ingredient. Well, that thickened really quickly. It's not super thick, but it just thickened it just enough. I'm gonna continue to let it simmer for another minute or two. I've got some really delicious crescents in here, or croissants, I guess. And dinner is almost ready. Okay, I think that's the perfect consistency. So I'm gonna turn this down to about low, and we're gonna add in our green. Definitely could have added more if I wanted to, but the recipe did just call for like a big handful, basically. Hot, 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 hot. Gosh.
Croissant as big as a football.
Look, don't hate.
I ain't hating it. It looks
But
great.
you don't have to get two, you can just eat one.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 All right, let's get into this soup now. Look at that
telling you what.
creamy soup.
I know.
And you're talking about smelling good. It's got that trinity of
It does.
ingredients there with the celery and the, I guess, onions.
And
You got onions in there?
carrots. Yep.
Oh, man. Yes. A proper chicken stew is what this is. Let's try some of this.
Oh, you have a little bit of green in there?
What you call that again?
Tatsoi? I don't know. I'm probably butchering the name.
Wow.
Is it good?
Yes.
I'm so happy.
Man, that is good.
I am so happy.
It's not too spinach-y.
It's a term. Look it up.
It is. It's really good.
What do you think about the wild rice in there?
Do what?
Oh, our garden just went off. That's why it just
wild
got
rice.
dark.
Where's the wild rice at?
It's in there.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just not a whole lot.
Oh, I see one now.
I see one.
I mean, I can't really tell.
I see one.
I saw one. I'm gonna try this bread.
Okay, try the bread.
Look at bread. So like it is.
It's some special bread. It's something new we're trying. Can you believe that was frozen just a little while ago and I just popped it in the oven and that's what it tastes like?
That is really good.
I know.
Man, that's like one of them Wade's rolls. You know what I mean?
I hope it's better than Wade's rolls.
Oh wow. I mean, anything better than Wade's roll is pretty good.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I love a Wade's roll now.
Wade's is where it's at.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Comment below. Do you know what we're talking about when we say Wade's rolls?
I'm gonna tell you right now, that is delicious.
I'm so
It's
happy.
flaky, but it's also
Like buttery and
buttery.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. This may be one of my favorite soups I've ever made.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's definitely up there.
It's up there next to cheeseburger.
Uh oh. It's funny he mentioned cheeseburger. Y'all stay tuned to that. But
Hey, chicken. I'm glad you used dark meat.
I know it's our favorite.
I mean, don't use anything else.
No, they can use chicken breast. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go back to eating. Put this one on your menu, y'all. It's very, very easy. Takes about an hour, so it's not as quick, but worth the wait. I may have saved my favorite one for last. I loved all of these, but this creamy Mediterranean skillet, so good. Okay, to get started, we've got our large skillet here. You just need a couple of tablespoons, or in our case, more like half a stick, you know. You just do it till it feels right. And you put that in the skillet and allow that to melt down. We've got it on about medium high. I went ahead and diced our onion using the onion chopper or the veggie chopper that I have. And then he's going to mince up 4 cloves of garlic. And he's so kind, he went ahead and removed all the stems.
I did. I de-stemmed
baby
spinach.
That's right. And he pulled off every single stem, y'all. He did real good. He stood over here for like
gonna play.
10 minutes. Okay, so what we did here is we just seasoned the chicken with salt and pepper. We cut each chicken breast in half so it would cook quicker. And we've got it here in our butter. We'll let it stay on this side for 3, 4, 5 minutes and then we'll flip it. So Stephen said, I want to throw some garlic powder and some paprika on it. And I said, well, do it. So that's what we're doing. Oh, that's pretty. So we're just flipping these and we're gonna allow them to cook all the way through on the other side before we remove them. So now Stephen is gonna finely dice our roasted red peppers. These are fire roasted red peppers from Thrive Market. So we used about half of this box of penne. We're just going to be making this separate. This will go at the bottom of our dish when we're ready. You can use whatever noodles you'd like. So these are gonna come out, and we've got some aluminum foil. We'll just tint this plate to keep them warm. He's gonna throw in our onion. And we're gonna throw in just a little bit of chicken stock to kind of deglaze the pan as well. It smells so good in here. Cole came in here, he was like, what are y'all making? It smells really good. So we did 2 large roasted red peppers, and then we've got about 4 cloves of garlic that Stephen minced. There you go. Have at it, Chef Stephen. You and your cream cheese self.
Yeah.
While that's cooking, we're just gonna season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. Now, this has been cooking for just a couple of minutes. We're gonna add in Stephen's favorite ingredient ever, 4 ounces of cream cheese. I'm just kind of separating it out.
A dollop of cream cheese.
And then we need to put in the rest of the chicken stock. So we had a cup and a half of chicken stock. He put in about a half a cup earlier. We're gonna put in the rest of it now. And we're gonna stir this around, and we're gonna let it melt, obviously, and let it simmer for a good 7 or 8 minutes. Our cream cheese has melted completely, and it's come up to a simmer. It says to allow it to simmer for about 7 minutes so it will reduce a bit. So we've got the temperature on about medium, and we're gonna let it hang out. Now it's time to add our spinach. It calls for 2 cups. We're just doing 2 really large handfuls. Here, you can use this to stir it around. I've already drained our pasta. It's hanging out back here. We're gonna let this wilt down, and then we're gonna add our chicken back in. And it's gonna be time to eat. Look at this. Stephen's about to slide all that chicken back in there, along with the juices. I'm so hungry, it's ridiculous right now. So yeah, are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I'm hungry.
And you're excited because there's cream cheese in it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Whoops. It got foggy.
A little froggy. That, my friends, looks amazing. Fix that hair.
All right, here we go with the cream cheese meal. Let's see what we got.
You act so mad about it. It ain't hardly got any cream
Smells
cheese in there at all.
absolutely delicious.
Now Cole is all skeptical because you said cream cheese.
Yeah, it's got cream cheese in this thing.
But your dad picked this recipe out, believe it or not.
Well, it's not great, but it's amazing.
Oh.
That is really good. That sauce is amazing. And the chicken is perfectly cooked.
Okay, good.
That sauce.
You want to drink it?
Yeah.
This is a wonderful meal. This is like restaurant quality meal.
Oh yeah, better.
Oh, yeah. This is
Better
a-
than-
Yeah, we give this one a 10 out of 10, maybe 11 out of 10. This might end up in a favorites.
Maybe.
Maybe. One thing I was thinking of, and I can't believe what Stephen just said. I'll let him say it again here in a second. If you wanted to thicken up the sauce, you could definitely do like a cornstarch slurry and thicken it up just a little bit, just so it grips to the pasta a little better. And what did you say? You could even add what?
A little bit more cream cheese, maybe.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Just to thicken the sauce a little
We need
bit.
to write the date down.
Okay,
It's
just to
monumental.
thicken.
There you have it. 5 chicken recipes that your family will love. Hopefully you found at least one that you want to give a try. You can add all the ingredients to your grocery list for this week. And do me a favor. Once you try a recipe, come back and report back and let us know how it went. I love to hear from y'all in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.